This is Nick Baisley from Film Snobbery, and I'm here at the FirstGlance Film Festival, Day 2, here at the red carpet, downtown LA Live, Regal, big theater, big venue, just as big guests from respectively Gamer Age and Intellivision. Let's introduce each other. Tell us a little bit about yourselves.
Sure. My name is Santer. This documentary took about 5 years of my life. It's basically a document of this gaming culture. It basically goes through the history from pinball to the arcade machines to consoles and to what we have today, which is, smartphones, tablets, and things like that. And it's basically an anthropological study, and I think we do a very good job at showing that basically everybody plays video games.
This is true. I'm a gamer myself, and this man here is been described to me by persons unknown as a pioneer in the industry. And I agree. Sir, who are you? And introduce yourself to the folks who don't already know you.
I'm Keith Robinson, and I am president of Intellivision Productions Incorporated. Intellivision was one of the two main gaming systems back in the early 1980s. There was Atari and there was Intellivision, and I was one of the programmers at Intellivision back then, and then later bought the rights to the game so we can bring them out today still on new platforms and everything. So you can get them on the, we had them on the iPhone, we'll have them on the iPhone again later this year. We've had them on PlayStation and Xbox and all the major platforms.
I will always love the arcade.
Arcades were like milestones, landmarks, you name it, those are like part of our youth.
Some people are raised on baseball and football. I was raised on ColecoVision and Atari 7800.
Even though some of these old school arcade games were just dots and blips and stuff, they just had sort of this appeal to them.
Just having that joystick, having that Atari 2600 that I begged my mother for, it just opened up a world that was so different than reality.
I think games have permeated our lives in so many ways that you don't even consider it as a special thing anymore. It's just something that you do and live with.
Their art, their science, their math, their engineering, they're the intersection of all of these things.
Not only did someone create it and give it life, but they also made it so that you could interact with it.
They allow people of diverse physical abilities to play together in a way that they might otherwise not.
It's influencing and inspiring people in ways well beyond just sitting there playing.
I think that this is the art of our days, is the art of playing video games.
I love it. I mean, I'm a huge gamer myself, so when I knew you guys were included in the festival, I was actually really excited to talk to you. I've been an avid gamer literally since, I hate to say Atari. That was unfortunately the first one my parents got me. But I've played Intellivision games. I'm a big retro console type of person too, so I dig it.
I actually had an Intellivision. I did not have an Atari. And
That's why I agreed to do the film.
It's very cool that I'm standing next to this guy now because he was Intellivision was a huge part of my childhood, definitely.
That's fantastic. Yeah. And so in terms of putting this documentary together, I mean, you talk about gaming culture. I mean, is it what most of, let's say, the outside world seems to think now, especially with, a lot of RPGs and stuff that are out? I mean, when we're talking about things like World of Warcraft, EverQuest, something like that, or even now some games like I literally just finished Grand Theft Auto 5 and Titanfall and all these big next-gen console wars, all this kind of stuff. Do you feel that the way how do you portray gamer culture as opposed to what the stereotypical gamer is?
Well, I think we do a pretty good job at showing that there really is not a stereotypical gamer. You know what I mean? Of course, there's the there's the geeky kid in the basement, who hasn't seen the light of day in 4 days, whatever. But we've got street artist guys in there. We have like hip hop guys. I think I do a very good job at showing that, like I said before, I mean, everybody plays video games, and we kind of show that. But more than that, the film shows how this gaming craze has kind of affected all the art that has been created over the past 40 years. So all the films that are made, and the music, and pretty much like the art gallery shows. And so, I mean,
it's funny. I mean, some of the most popular artwork that I see on T-shirts and stuff like that is not high resolution, next gen level stuff. It's 8-bit or less, kind of wear. I mean, it's retro is back in, and I'm sure that makes you guys very happy over in Television.
We have a T-shirt that we designed based on our game Astro Smash. It's got, and the character Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory has worn it over 20 times now on the show. Yeah. So it's like people are always saying, "Hey, I saw your TV. I saw Astro Smash. I saw the shirt." So.
You're like, it's the one that's not Bazinga or the Flash.
Yeah, exactly. But, yeah, probably the third most one he wears. But so you can come to our website, you buy one of those shirts, just like Sheldon wears. You can be just like Sheldon.
What inspired you to get into the gaming industry? I mean, were you a programmer? I mean, if we're going back years, I mean, were you a computer programmer back then and decided to get into, the gaming industry that way, or?
Well, I always wanted to be in entertainment and computers. In high school, I liked both, so I was in both of them. I went to UCLA to get a master's degree in computer science, and then afterwards, my intention was to go into film special effects, which I did actually. I worked on, in fact, one of my greatest credits, moments of pride is I did the blue screen compositing in the Star Wars Holiday Special.
I love it, although I was hoping he was going to say my best credit to date is Gamer Age. But
it's kind of hard to beat the Star Wars Christmas special.
It really is, right? How did you guys get in contact with each other, or maybe most likely did you contact Keith here, or how does it done?
Yeah, I think I reached out to him at the Smithsonian Art exhibit.
Were you part of the exhibit, or were you? No,
I keep saying that, yes, I am now going to be, oh man, here's another glass case.
They literally just hand you a chair and be like,
programmer, 1981 programmer, yes.
I love it.
Plaque. Actually, I was on a panel there, so.
Fantastic.
And then about a year later, he actually found some time to sit down with me.
That's great. And what was your role in the documentary? Was it more so to highlight more of the history of gaming, or was it was it more of to kind of, what was it?
Yeah, in fact, 5 minutes ago I was saying, hey, you cut out anything funny I said. I have like no personality. It's like very professorial and that, but that's, I'm like this thread through this thing talking about, and then this happened, and then we did this, and then this happened. So it's like, and this led to this type of thing. So
yeah, he's the elder statesman who kind of takes us through, the console days. So
you can't go wrong with that, though. I mean, at least as opposed to many of the elder statesmen of the video gaming world, at the very least, this one speaks English. But
going back to what you were saying, beginning in the most of the things we've seen, or what I've done, because on our website we have a lot of the history and all that, is explaining, here's what we did, here's what we did there. But in this film, you let the gamers themselves tell the story. It's their story. It's like, okay, we can tell kind of the framework of what we were doing, but they're the ones who actually played it and everything. This whole idea of the culture of the gaming, it didn't exist when I was a kid. I didn't come to gaming, it's like, oh, I want to make a game like this or something like that I'd played. There was no such thing. Before 1970, there was no such thing. And so then we were there to develop all of this stuff, and now to see it all, and the impact on the culture. You were talking about movies and things. The quick editing of something like MTV, or they have things on the screen and all that, that's all from kids knowing how to look at a screen and with graphics and with icons and text and make sense of it all. I look at that and go, I don't understand any of that. But, somebody who grew up with it, that's perfectly normal.
You're absolutely right. And it's And I find it interesting. I find the whole gamer, like you said, your documentary is about gamer culture, and having grown up with video games. Before I did this, I was a network engineer for like a decade, and video gaming greatly influenced my interest in doing that and wanting to know how things worked and everything. How about yourself? I mean, before being a filmmaker, what was your passion there?
What as far as games, you mean, or?
In general, I mean, did you have an interest in technology or or gaming or anything like that before you decided like I need to do a documentary on this?
My grandmother actually put a camcorder in my hand when I was about 12 years old, and I don't think I ever put it down actually. And I started off as a stills photographer, and now I'm just really into this film thing,
And why for you was it about, of all the things you could have filmed, all the different documentary subjects that are out there, what was it about gaming for you that said that this is what it's going to be?
Probably I realized how passionate these people are. Like I've never seen a culture that is just so passionate about something, and it's just they take this passion and they create art out of it, and it's just really it's just great stuff.
Now, documentary. One of the things about documentaries is that they take so long to make. Normally you rarely hear of a documentary where they're like, "Oh yeah, we shot for like a year and then cut." It's usually, I mean,
I
one
get pissed off when I hear that.
I bet you do.
Those bastards,
Those bastards that have lives.
Exactly.
But
yeah, this one took about 4 to 5 years actually to complete.
How do you get from point A to point B in that set of time? Do you have the story in your head that you want to tell? Do you have to map out those next 4 years of your life? Is it on accident or on purpose that it took that long? I mean, did it just take that long to finally go, and now I've got it?
Well, I mean, I do have a day job, so we would film on my days off. We would film at nights. Like we would think the story was going one way, and then it would totally do like a 360. And I would interview a person, and they'd be like, "Oh, you've got to meet my friend. He created a giant joystick." Or, "You got to meet this guy. He, he paints on the he paints joysticks on the street." So it just came to be this massive thing where there were so many people to interview, and like I cover the negative side, I cover the positive side. So I found a guy who has like a charity that goes to like the hospitals, and
I met him today.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many cool things that are being done, and I think what kind of sets this film apart is we don't really judge these people. You know what I mean? I don't feel like it's like an exploitation piece. I also don't feel like we're really saying that games are good or bad, We're like Switzerland,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You let the people tell their own story.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to ask you a question that, as a filmmaker, I'm sure you get, and a film enthusiast, I'm sure you get all the time. But and now I get to almost feel like I turn the tables on, because for gamers and stuff. Now, what's your favorite video game?
Oh man.
And forget he's standing there for a second.
Well,
television's classic.
Sadly enough, as lame as this may sound, I love Miss Pac-Man. That's my favorite game of all time.
I actually do prefer Miss Pac-Man over regular Pac-Man.
And my dream has always been to have a, stand-up
arcade machine.
Yeah, cabinet. And I always said that I was going to treat myself. When I finally was done with this movie, I was going to go out and buy a cabinet.
Let's go right now.
Absolutely. Let's do it. But I mean, like I was a Super Mario kid, Mike Tyson's Punch Out was a favorite.
Before they took Mike Tyson out of it.
Absolutely.
How about yourself? I mean, now I know that it's kind of like I liked it so much I bought the company type of situation. But I mean, are you still a gamer? I mean, do you still play?
I don't play very much of the newer games. Because usually I'm at places where they have the older games, and the game that has always been my favorite of the non-Intellivision games is Centipede.
What about the ones that are of the Intellivision games?
If it's a two-player game, it's biplanes. Simplest game in the world, but it's the guy, Shel Farley, who did it, the the gravity and everything is so, they install it and everything, it's beautiful. When you see two people who know how to play biplane, it's terrific. A single player game, I'm always playing Astro Smash or Night Stalker, Tron Deadly Disc, those are great games. And I was always fascinated by
Night Stalker's a great
yeah.
Yeah.
But the other one, very sophisticated. Tom Lowry did this game called Treasure of Carmen. So Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, Treasure of Carmen. And it's like point of view going through a labyrinth. It's really, really a wonderful game. It didn't get enough, I think. It was a breakthrough game. A lot of the games that we did back then, people look at them and say, you did this back then? Games like Utopia. Yeah. And the World Series Major League Baseball.
I love that.
That was my favorite.
They're very complicated games. And people to this day, they are complex. And they really inspired, I think, a lot of the games that are going on now.
Fantastic. Did you have anything to add on that?
Yeah, the Snafu game I thought was
Snafu,
very
yes.
cool. I was telling him my mom used to put us to sleep at night, and she would sneak, into the basement, and she would do the Astro Smash challenge. So, yeah, we have a long history within television.
That's fantastic. And it's great that you're able to turn those kind of, let's call it, warm fuzzy feelings, into a career and into, a film that other people can probably reminisce with as well. And, that's great.
Yeah, I think that, one of the things that's happened is it's like people always have been conscious about how a song can evoke a memory or food or whatever, and now it's video games can do it. Yeah. Some of these people come in and see, we had Astro Smash set up downstairs in the lounge. People come and see that, and it's like it takes them back to when they were 6 years old on the Christmas tree playing with their brother. So it's like, this is, and because of that, because there's that evoking of memories and emotion, is why they're then turning it from games into art, and they're processing it through that. Nothing we ever intended back then when we were doing the games. No one said, hey, that's going to inspire some really great artwork down the line. So, but it has, though.
It's fantastic. And where's Gamer Age going from here?
I'm screening in Yonkers next month, actually, as part of the Art of Games traveling exhibit.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I screened at 2 of the stops so far, and this is going to be the 3rd one. There's going to be a screening in Colorado in June. I'm doing Classic Gaming Expo. And probably next month is going to be a screening at the Crest Theater in Westwood. So there's a lot of stuff coming up. And I believe I'm going to stream it on Twitch TV as well.
Yeah.
Which should be huge, yeah.
That'll be great for you guys. And I'm interested to know what does Intellivision have in store, not for those guys, but for me. I want to know.
Well, we're always looking at, we can't, like right now, I can't tell you exactly what we're doing, but if you just look at what's out there and say, Intellivision will probably take advantage of it. But we were on, through VH1, people may know, we did an iPhone version a couple of years ago. And when the contract there expired, we wanted to go elsewhere. And so it's going to be back on that, but on iPhone and Android at some point this year, probably.
I'm very excited.
Top secret. Cone of silence. No one's watching, right? And
believe me, even if there was, no one watches this.
and there's another project that's coming out probably in October that I'm very excited about. But because we made 2 deals last year. One with a company called At Games, and At Games is a company that makes the Atari flashbacks, if you're familiar with that. Yeah. So I can't tell you what they're going to do, but gee, the company makes Atari flashback.
You'd probably give you a good idea.
Gets contract.
I swear to God, you're like my last interview. Where like I got invited to take part in this, this overseas very popular film festival. I'm like, do you have to learn French for it? She's like, that's a really good guess. And I was just like, yeah, you're not too subtle a hint there. So I like that. That's great though. I'm glad that you guys are, you're both, collectively. I'm really happy to see Intellivision really stand that test of time. I mean, I know a lot of other people are too.
I think one thing, both what you did and what we do, it's labor of love. Yes. This is, I didn't realize when I walked in the door in 1981 this was going to be most of my life, but it has been, and it's fun. And the thing is, the people we work with are so great. Dave Warhol is in the film. Some of the people who are what we call the Blue Sky Rangers, the programmers at Mattel. There's great people. We get to see them all the time.
And I'm guessing that you probably never thought you'd be saying this in 1981, but you say now, where can other people find more information about Intellivision's games and going-ons?
Yeah, something that never existed back then, which is our website, which I don't know if you're going to have a chyron on this and tell about.
Do a little lower third for you.
Because we're at intellivisiongames.com. But some people can't figure out how to spell Intellivision. We're also at astrosmash.com. We'll take you to the same place.
I think that, you know, at this point it's so much easier to make a movie, but I think that whole thing of the marketing and selling has gotten a little harder. Sure. However, I think for you're in a very great position. You've got a great, I don't even want to call it a niche market, because let's be honest, gamers are everywhere. So it's going to be really good. And I appreciate both of you guys coming and spending some time talking with us a little bit about it. I'm sure it's going to have a lot of impact on people.
One last thing, though, because you talked about the technology and doing, I believe it was Steve Lisberger, who was the director of the movie Tron, said that today a couple kids in their garage could make that movie for less than $100,000.
I know, right? That's so sad. And then they made Tron 2, and I was like, they shouldn't have done that. They should have gotten a couple guys in the thing, because they would have stayed a little more true to it. No, I'm kidding. It did.
Yeah, and thing is, since I worked on that movie, the game I programmed at Mattel was the Tron Solar Sailor. So for like 5 months at Mattel, I was working on Tron, and every day, and I'd go out to the studio, and they'd show me storyboards and rough cuts, and come back and work on it. So Tron is very dear to me. So yes, when Tron 2, I got into the premiere of Tron 2, and I said, well, I think it's fantastic. I don't know if anybody else will like it, but for me, it brings it back.
Whether this makes it up to this or to the interview or not, Tron, the Tron stand-up cabinet game, the Disc War one, is my favorite cabinet game I've ever played. I still, every time I see it in a retro arcade game, I've been to Twin Galaxies, and because I'm from the East Coast, so seeing those. My favorite game of all time. Every time I see it, I'm like, that's getting my quarters.
Which I believe is Midway. So what do you give
Midway? Yeah.
We both have Twin Galaxies trading cards, and those are very exclusive. They don't just give those out to
No,
they don't.
Because you conducted this interview, you're probably going to be the next one on the card.
Exactly. I love it. Nice.
Interview with Ian Santer of the Gamer Age documentary. That's
as long as I remember to spell Nick with no K, we're happy. It's all good. So I want to say thanks again, guys, for coming down, and congratulations on being here, First Glance, and hopefully the screening went well for you, and I wish you guys best of luck on the next endeavor.
Thank you so much, and I do have a website. It is animatronicakbar.com.
It's a trap.
Yes, exactly.
And right now about 5 lines going in front of you.
Oh yeah.
Of course we have a Twitter and a Facebook and all that. So you just search for me or Animatronic Akbar, and
we'll probably have a link on our site if you come to Astrosmash.
I hope so. Hopefully we'll have a link on filmsnobbery.com. So again, thanks guys, and watch Gamer Age.